Alright guys, so we got a video from Rebel HQ, alright, which is affiliated with TYT, alright. Now, just going by the title, because I haven't seen this yet, I think he's probably talking about gun control, alright. Let's just go ahead and check this out and see what he's talking about.
Alcohol-related deaths in 2020, 13.1 per 100,000. We talking about regulating any more alcohol? We talking about banning it? We're talking about making new rules to make it harder to get alcohol? No. Deaths by car, vehicles, 38,824, 11.2 per 100,000. Anybody want to ban cars? Any talk of that? No.
That was Representative Pat Fallon out of Texas during a House hearing on the Second Amendment.
So is this a Republican actually wanting to ban guns? I thought they were supposed to be, all for the Constitution. All right, not for trying to take our rights away from us. You know what I'm saying? Although, as of right now, there's a lot of context missing here because I don't know what actual point he was getting ready to get to. So hopefully they, play some more of this so we can actually see what he was talking about.
And I want to start out by conceding something. There are some people who simply want guns to be banned in these United States, but others want guns to be regulated, like alcohol in cars. I mean, Rep. Fallon knows this country tried to ban alcohol, right? And he knows that only certain people can legally have adult beverages at certain times and in certain places, correct? Then, after having said adult beverages, people who can legally drink aren't allowed to legally drive while intoxicated. And by drive, I mean in cars. Automobiles. Hopefully ones belonging to the driver because stealing cars is illegal. But you can operate them after you go through a training course and have been tested by the state for competency, and then a license is issued. There's also registration requirements, insurance requirements, directions, traffic lights, and signs pointing out where to go and what to do while on the road, with laws and bylaws enforced by the police. I'm sure the average person knows this. The point is, it would be dumb for a lawmaker to make this argument, or anyone really. This is not only false equivalence, but validation for gun regulation. With that in mind, where would he have gotten that nonsense? Nobody else is going to say anything like that.
Wait a minute. I think I might know what's going on here. All right. What it could be is that they haven't fully evaluated what he was talking about. All right. What he could have been trying to get to was to say, is anyone trying to ban all these other things that are problematic at times? No. So, why do you guys keep wanting to ban guns? Because they're only dangerous if they're in the wrong hands. Alright? If they're in the right people's hands, then there's no danger. Because they know how to use them, and they use them responsibly. This is why we don't go around saying we need to ban all vehicles because people keep dying in car crashes. Alright? If that the solution there, let's make sure we're training these drivers properly. Let's make sure, let's increase the frequency at which we're testing these drivers once they reach a certain age. Make sure they still have a good awareness of what's going on around them. Make sure they still understand, make sure they can still see properly. All right. These are things that would actually help to reduce car crashes. So far, I think these two people right here are actually on the same page. All right. But I I just don't think, this research has been done carefully enough. You know what I'm saying?
right?
And it's true that guns are the leading cause of death among children. It's very close. It's just slightly ahead of automobile accidents. So are you suggesting that we ban automobiles too? Is your argument that we ban guns and we take away the Second Amendment, we rewrite the Constitution, and we deny people's right to defend themselves? Is that what are you saying? You're not saying any of that. You're not making any kind.
To be fair, I don't know if Michael Knowles got this from Fallon or Fallon got this from Knowles, or where this bad argument came from. But I wanted to go back there. Look, of course people die by way of cars, and most of the time, these...
It's not a bad argument, though. The argument they're making is in support of what you're saying, though. They're arguing against people wanting to ban firearms. Isn't that what you're doing? Someone please explain to Michael Knowles, I've never heard of him before, that you cannot drive an automobile unless you've gone through a training course and have been tested by the state for competency and a license issued. All right. Again, if they're saying that we should ban firearms, then they're not doing a very good job of showing that footage of them specifically saying that. The only thing they're showing is just them making an argument, but not getting to the conclusion of that argument, right?
are by accident. And if a car were to be used to intentionally murder others, there would be... That's not really the case, because when someone wants to get rid of someone else, they usually go to guns, not cars. What am I talking about? I almost fell into the trap. There are accidental gun deaths too. Guns were designed for killing. Someone on Twitter made the argument about guns and self-defense and shared this article, which featured data of multiple surveys from people who own and use guns. However, how many people admit to using guns in self-offense? That's called murder. Guns don't pull the trigger, people do. Thanks for reminding us that when a person wants to kill, even if they don't want to, they overwhelmingly go to guns, not cars or anything else. These dumb comparisons and analogies are
Oh, wait. Are you trying to say we should ban guns? That's what's going on here, isn't it? He wants to ban guns, and he's mad at these other people for saying, no, we shouldn't ban guns. Because that's a bad comparison. That comparison doesn't line up properly the way they think it does. All right. So, once we get finished with the video, all right, I'm probably going to go ahead and explain why he's wrong, why these are good comparisons.
Infuriating and do nothing to help anyone.
Don't need to touch her to make her. Don't need to touch her.
All right.
He's fine. I'm okay.
You are on the right side. We are on the wrong side. We are using our First Amendment.
Posted by Congressman Maxwell Frost. This video shows Manuel Oliver being arrested for speaking out at the committee hearing. His son Joaquin was shot to death in Parkland, Florida. Manuel's wife Patricia Oliver was arrested as well. Congressman Pat Fallon said that nonsense about guns and cars in front of them. And if this took place in or near the Capitol complex, it's where certain people can't carry guns in certain places for the safety and well-being of others.
My assessment seems to be holding up right now. All right. He wants to ban guns, and he's mad because these other people don't. All right. That logic does not hold up. All right. It just doesn't. Banning guns only hurts law-abiding citizens. Those are the people it's going to hurt and restrict. Meanwhile, the people who are buying guns on the street, they will still be armed. Meanwhile, the other people who could be there potentially armed and ready to take down an armed assailant, you take away their guns, you take away our defense. You know what I'm saying? So we can't do that. So my opinion is make it easier for good people to get guns, make it harder for bad people to get guns. All right, that's just my opinion. I've had some really interesting conversations with people about this, though. And they made some good points. So the Second Amendment, all right, it says, a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. There are no exceptions listed. It doesn't say if you've committed a felony. It doesn't say if you've done this, then you don't get to have guns anymore. It doesn't say that, right? So somehow there is a loophole that they found, and they said, once you've committed a felony or whatever it is, I don't know exactly what the circumstances are, but under certain circumstances, you don't get to have a gun anymore. All right. The problem with that, though, they can still have a gun. All right. You can't take away their free will. Sure, they can't just go to a store and pick one up, right? But they can still pick one up off the street. They can still do that. And if they're going to commit crimes, like, that's exactly how they're going to go about it, to getting guns. All right. So I would say, if you're buying guns legally, right, then that gun is probably not going to be involved in any malicious activity. All right. Not 100%. All right. But that person is going to know, okay, this gun can be tracked to me, so I know I don't want to go committing crimes with it. You know what I'm saying? It's just that simple. So let's dig into what he's advocating for right now. And let's examine if it would help. No, it would not help. All right. Let's imagine someone commits a mass shooting with an AK-47, right? Let's ban all AK-47s, right? There are other guns they can get. And keep in mind, banning AK-47s doesn't mean that person can't go and find one. They can still find AK-47s. It's just that the law-abiding citizens, now they can't, because now they're banned. They're illegal now. Now they can't get them. But the bad guy still can. All right? He could still go on the street and buy just about anything he could possibly find. You know what I'm saying? So no, that's not going to fix it. Right? Let's imagine it was a different gun. We've banned AK-47s, now they use a different gun. Right? Let's imagine maybe that gun did become harder to find because they were banned. Right? Maybe all of a sudden we can't find any AK-47s. So they go to a different gun, whatever type it is, whatever he can find to get his hands on, to go and commit crimes like this. And then we say, let's ban that gun, right? And then again, let's imagine that gun all of a sudden becomes hard to find, right? No one has them anymore. But keep in mind, that's also a stretch. It's a huge stretch to think because we ban a gun, that means the bad guys can't find them anymore, right? And then we just keep doing that, right? Every gun that's used in a violent manner, let's ban that gun. That makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. All right? That's not going to help anything. I think this is a situation to where having more guns in the hands of good people is the route we need to start taking. All right? And it's not even the benefits of that is not just the situations to where there's actual people that are good that have weapons. That realm of possibility will start to become more active in the minds of terrorists. All right. They will start to think, how many of these people in this crowd has got guns right now? If we continue that upward trend of good people having weapons, mass shootings should go down, at least somewhat. And then there's also a good chance that if a mass shooting were to happen, there's probably going to be at least several people in the crowd that has weapons, that's ready to handle that. You know what I'm saying? That's the direction we need to go. All right. It's not less guns, it's more guns in the hands of the right people. We're never going to completely eliminate all the psychopaths in the world. That's not a thing. That's not possible. The only thing we could do is try to be prepared for it when it does happen. You know what I'm saying? That's it. And if we're taking away resources from good people who could have defended themselves and defended the lives of other people, we're going in reverse. So he doesn't like those analogies. How about I give you a better one? And I don't have any problem with those analogies anyways. If you guys have a problem with those analogies, put in the comments and let me know. But he also didn't really fully let them explain their entire analogy either. But I'll give you a better one. All right. I like aviation. I love learning about plane crashes. Right. So let's imagine a DC-10 crashes. Right. Then the NTSB comes out and says, you know what? Let's ban all DC-10s. No more DC-10s. All right. Take them all to the scrapyard. They're no good. This one crashed, so we don't trust these planes anymore. Right? Then a different type of plane crashes, and they do the same thing again. Let's ban all those planes. Right? Those planes are no good. One crashed, so we think the rest of them are eventually going to crash. All right. Without ever looking at the cause of each of those crashes, because a lot of times the plane itself has nothing to do with the crash. All right. A lot of times it's due to the weather, it's due to pilot error, it's due to maintenance errors. Very, very seldom has to do with the plane itself, but it does happen. All right. But like I said, maintenance errors. If something's going to go wrong with the plane, that's usually where the problem's going to come from. It's from maintenance errors. Right? From taking shortcuts, not checking things as often as they should. That kind of thing. That leads to plane crashes. All right. So even though, yes, the plane is at fault, but the plane itself isn't the fault. The fault is the people who were supposed to keep it maintained properly. That's where the fault is. So the plane itself has nothing to do with it. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully that makes sense. But very seldom is it an actual design flaw from the manufacturer? It does happen. All right. But did they end up saying let's completely ban this model? No. They just said make the plane fly like it's supposed to. You know what I'm saying? That's it. It then so now let's go back to the argument here. Let's ban a certain type of weapon, right? The weapon itself is not the problem. The weapon didn't grow legs and run around shooting people. That was a person that did that. All right. So I think we have to be a little bit more realistic here. All right. I can see some of the benefit of saying, let's ban fully automatic rifles, right? Because it would give people more time to take down a person with a semi-automatic pistol or something like that. Because the rounds per minute are a lot less. The magazines are a lot less, right? But even like I said though, even if you ban a certain type of weapon, the bad guys are still going to get those weapons, right? And then the good guys are going to have less firepower to deal with those bad guys. Who's going to have bigger and better guns. You know what I'm saying? So I think a little bit more common sense here would really help. So, all right, that's it for now, y'all.